And this is the next part. It was going to be rebuilding the engine, but I'm waiting on that. But I've got all other bearings and putting all new bearings in. The case has all been painted, chain slider, loads of stuff. Just whilst I'm waiting for this bearing, I'm going to put some of this stuff onto the bike. And that's the harness as well. Copied off the oven. There's only them 4 wires with indicators. Everything else is wired up. That should have a bullet connector on. I ordered one of those Y4. I've just put that one in. I've ordered them bolts, put exhaust bolts, new levers, and I've got 2 new bolts for the exhausters for there and there. So just put the back exhaust on now as well. I've got the brake hose clips on. Change those. I've got some new bolts for the oil pump as well. I'm going to put a new coil on as well. So that goes all the way down there. Shouldn't be that long. I've just glued that to the airbox. It's the one without the hole in, the 3BN one. I've got the clip there for it to go on. And that bearing's come now. So I'm going to heat all the places where the bearings go up. Bang the bearings in. These have all been in the freezer for an hour. So the bearings are colder. They shrink when they're colder, and then when you put heat on them, they expand and you can bang them in. So we're going to get them bearings in now anyway. More bolts come. Some of them I don't even know what for. I just ordered loads. I know some of them are for the radiator panel. Some of them are for to hold the back indicators on. The same ones on there shiny. The seal kit come today as well. And the bearings only been in 45 minutes. But I'm going to risk it, see if I can get it in. I'm going to heat that case. I'm going to take it into the cold room there, just so there's no noise. See if I can get it in quietly. So I've got the bearing in alright. Now I'm going to pull that main bearing off the crankshaft. And then now the bearing extractor is all on. Looks like that. You turn this end and this bit extracts the bearing out. Oh, it's heavy, so to see if it extracts it off. That's the main bearing, took off the end of the crank. Now I'm going to get the crank puller tool and put the crank in. Just remember the crank's going in that way, because this side here is your flywheel side. With your little woodwork key. So just remember that, and don't put your seals in first, because you've got to heat the cases up to get your main bearings in. So just leave your seals out. Right, we're going to get the crank puller, pull this crank into that side of the casing. So I'm just going to move the crank up. That's a 2-stroke I know. Push that through. And that's up there. And remember, when we've got this crank tool on, if you can see it. And we're pulling this through. Keep your con rod up the top. So it moves down into there. Right, we'll get the crank puller on now. And that's the crank installer tool on now. Just going to pull that crank through into this side. That's the con rod pulled through now. Just measuring that gap. And I'll be having with 17, 18 on there. See 17 at the top. So we'll take this crank puller off now. Now I'll get my wooden box to rest the engine on. And after it's there, it's just a little wooden box. It's just so the crank and the shafts don't hit the flat, like off the floor, off this. They're in there. It just looks like that. We'll get the gearbox in there now with the balancer shaft as well. Then put the high lamar all around here. Don't forget the high lamar there as well. And now I'm going to put the gearbox in. That shaft, the selector drum, your gear forks, which I'll show how them go. Right. You've got your circlip there, 55k. Number 3 goes at the top. Number 1 with 55k goes like that. So it should look like that with your circlip there. So it should be looking something like that. There's the top one, there's the bottom one. Don't worry about the middle one yet. And get your shaft put under there. Make sure that top coat's flush. And you've got the top and bottom in like that. Just slide it all in. It's in the middle, you know. Here you go. Everything's in now. Should just tap down. That's it in now. But the selector drums pop through at the bottom, so that's alright. So the gearbox is in alright. That's the gearbox in all right now. All selector forks are turning. Now I'm going to put the 2 stoppers in. Best oil these because these are steel and the cases are aluminium. And if it's an old bike, they're always rusty. So I'm just going to lube these up with 2-stroke, put the balancer shaft in, and then put the blue high lamar in. And remember not to forget to put it on there. So we'll just lube these up now. I've lubed that one up. Had a bit of rust on, I've just scraped it off, it's all flat now. Just push that one in as well. Then just lube the balancer shaft up. And that just pushes in, it just slots in. Just give it a wiggle. And it clicks in. It's in. Right now we can high them or everything now. And now everything's been high them on. I've let it dry 15 minutes. Just remember, don't forget to hide them all that part, because if you do, you're gonna have an oil leak, or something oil in, you're gonna have to split again. Right, get the top crank pusher, sorry. We'll put the top casing on now, and lube all around here. And bits what are fitting into this casing. Casing on now. All nipped up. I'll just put the case boards in now. So I'm going to find all these bolts for here, for this side. Then you've got that collar, just slides on the end of the crank. I've already looped it all up. Just slides on there. I've got the crank seal. Just move that round there and push that in as well. That's the crank seal in. Now we're going to get this put in there. I'm going to get the screw for there. Now that's on, we'll fit this cog and this woodwork key. It's the longer one of the two. Just remember there's your dot, so this faces out here like that. Best to just put the woodwork key in first, and then get your cog with the pointer facing out with a little circle. Just slide it on. Then that's that on. And we can put the primary drive on as well. Just give it a bit of lube up. So it's best to put the woodwork key in first, because the woodwork key slots through this primary drive and that cog. Just slides on like that. There'll be a spacer. For that spacer, get the washer, which is that one. Now we're going to put the balancer shaft cog on. It's a little woodwork key. It's a smaller one, the square one. It just fits in there. Quickly lube everything up. It's always best to put the woodwork keys in first as well. So put the woodwork key in, and then remember your notch on this has to line up with the notch on this. So, and that's it on there. Two little dots are lined up. Then you've got your tab. Slides in there. There's the nut, we'll just put that on for the time being slightly as well. Next I'll push the gear shaft through. I'll put the gear stick seal in as well. And then clean all your gear shaft on the end, clean all the rough off it, and then lube it up because it's got to slide through the seal on the other end. Anyway, it just pushes through. And that's that through. The seal's alright. Then we're going to fit this onto the gear selector drum. That's your nut with the raised bit. This bit of the spring, that bit hooks over, and that bit just rests on the case. So we're going to put this, it's always best to work in neutral as well, and that's neutral. So it hasn't got a groove in, all the rest have got points. So if you work with neutral, you'll be able to get that in much easier. Right, we'll get this in now. Tiny bit thread on this as well, I nearly forgot there. Tiny bit on the bottom, but when them threads go in, that comes up anyway. I'll just pull this shaft out of the way and we'll get this on. Then get it, just slide that down there, over on the neutral on the selector drum. It's in the groove bit now, I don't know if you can see. See, once this is tightened up, this plate will just pop back over onto the neutral. Tighten it a touch more, put a bit of tension on it. And that's it's tightened up there, it should look like that. Just if you put this on first, always work in neutral. So always put this onto the neutral. Bit without the point. Right, next. You can slide that back round now and that will just slips over there like that. That's that on as well now. So we've got to tighten them up. Putting this new casing without that snap baffler plate bolt, and we've had the little drill hole in there. I've had to put this tackle gear onto this casing because this casing's off an electric start one without the rev counter in there. But anyway, we'll get them on now. I'm just going to tighten these two up now first instead. So we'll put a penny in there. I like to protect that clutch thread if I haven't put the nut on it. Right, now we're going to lock this one. Take the penny out and put the penny in this side. Find the socket for there. So now we've got the penny in this side. Just going to lock this nut. Make sure we get it on tight. And then when it's as tight as it's to go, the tab what you pushed back earlier, it's lined up with the flat part of the nut. So we'll just nip that over now. Then just get the tab. Just remember when I first stripped this engine down, the baffler plate thing was snapped, the bolt in there. I've got a new baffler plate, I've just bent it out so it's all level, so it's flush around there. I'm just going to have to go and find two screws to go in there and put that baffler plate on there like that. When I found two that'll work, I'm just going to put a little bit of thread on the bottom. They're off that. When you're inside the engine, you've got a bolt there and a bolt up here to hold this bearing in. I just banged them out of another engine because I couldn't find none with the baffler plate nuts in. Anyway, we'll get the baffler plate on that. So I'm going to put the kickstart idler cog on now. There's the cog, there's two washers, There's two circlips, there's one. So put that circlip on first. Look at the back runner. That's that one in. And you get one of these bearings. There's two, they're like air washers. There's two, they're exactly the same. Just move it up. And you've got your idler cog. That goes to the back. So it goes on that way. So you just lube in there. Slide that on. You've got rubber washer, same as the rubber washer before. It just slides on there like that. And then you've got your last circlip. Just put that on now. Then we can put the speed, rev drive on with the two washers. That one goes on first. And I've just noticed with this being the electric start case and without the rev counter, it didn't have one of them in. I've just took one out of an engine upstairs. So just going to fit that into there and get this tackle gear on. It's in now, so slide your first black washer on. It doesn't go past that. Then teeth on this drive going down here, just turn that till you can, it goes past it. You put that in. That's driving the speedo drive, which is good. You've got that washer. Just remember this at the end before the casing goes on, because these always drop off. So just keep an eye on that. And I'll fit the kickstart shaft. That bit fits into there, and this stopper stops on there. And you've got to pull this way around on tension and push it into that hole. So we'll come to that now. So just pull the wire back a bit, not too much. Get it to them two are lining up, and then pull that pin round. Into that hole. And that's it there. And it all should look like that. And the kickstart's in. That bit's in that square. The top stopper's on the stopper. Just see it under the spring I pushed in the case. I'm just going to put the seals in this side. Just glue around there. Just push this in. Then if you put the seal in first, you've only got to go past that, so much of that. If you put that in first, the seal's got to slide all the way across that, and these are normally rusty. I'll put that in that way anyway. Slides in. That's that in. Just going to put the crank seal in now. That's the crank seal in now. I'm going to put the clutch arm in now. That's the clutch arm with a washer. Just slides in. And that spring just hooks over there. That's the clutch arm in. If you remember when I first stripped it, this is the clutch what come out. It's just grooved all the way around, like some of them grooves going up ways are smooth, but coming down your finger gets stuck on them, so the clutch plates are going to get stuck on them. But every single one's got deep grooves in. So I'm going to put a new clutch basket in as well, because that's not worth putting in. It's F9 as well. That's the new clutch I'm using. Them on grooves there, that's nothing that much better than the other one. I'm going to clean it up now anyway. So that new clutch basket's dry now. This washer goes on first. It's the conical washer. It's concaved. It's like a C. Looking at it from that way, it's like a C. It's hard to explain, but it's like a C shaped. It's curved. It's curved that way. So that curved way goes onto the back. Onto there. You get that one. Loop it up. Pull that one out. And we've got the clutch, which is a good one. Normally when you grab that and you grab this top bit and twist like that, this back bit moves on them, like that's perfect. That. And you lube in there and push this on. Give it a wiggle. That's it there now. Everything's running off it now. Then you've got that one. That just slides over there like that. Then you get in a clutch. And that clutch is alright. There's no grooves in it, they're just where the light aluminiums come off lightly. But they're alright them. That's usable that. So anyway that goes on now. Just slides on like that. I'm just gonna lock the centre first and get the locking tab and the nut on before I get the plates on. So just put the clutch tool on like that. It keeps that still so you can turn the nut. If you didn't have this on, this full clutch just spins as you turn the nut. Anyway, we're going to get the tab on. Slides in like that. Got your nut on. Put that on. These are the new clutch plates I'm putting in. All three are just under what I've measured them. These ones here are all in it. Some of them's 292s, 294, I think 296 was the highest. And that plates have got rust on. So I'll just scrap them in the scrap two of them. I've got some motor oil down there, so I'm just going to soak these clutch plates because they've been upstairs for a while. Now the nuts tightened up and get the clutch plates in. I've had these soaking overnight in some oil. I'm going to put these in now and get your clutch like that. Have that at the 12 o'clock position, and these, see the teeth of the basket, have them there. So that one there is at the top above there. First of all, you have a black plate. Check the diameter there. Just slide straight on. Then you put a metal plate on. You've got notches. This first notch goes up there. And that's why I was meaning the clutch. Dab it like that. So you put this on. Have that notch there in the middle of that. And then secondly, you get that clutch plate which got that's thinner, it's got a larger diameter. That just goes on. And into that one you've got a damper ring that fits into that ring what's got the bigger diameter in the middle. Then get another clutch plate. There's your notch. That notch there, and then the other plate's going to line up with there. This one's going to line up with there, and this one's going to line up there. So we've got that one in there. Just another normal black plate. They're all the same now. There's only one what's different with the bigger diameter. Another metal clutch plate with the lip. So we want that. Now another black plate. Then another metal plate with the lip there. That lip there is going to line up with that lip on there on the first plate, on that notch. The black plate slides on. And another metal plate with the notch there. That notch there will line up with that notch there on the second metal plate we put on. Now another black plate. Then another metal plate with your lip. And that lip will line up with that lip. And we've got that one line in there, and that one line in there. Then the plate, just push that on. Then you've got your first clutch rod. Just check the ends. That end's weird, not much. That's where the ball bearing goes. That end's alright. So I'm going to put that end in first, so that's touching the clutch arm on the other side, and the ball bearing's just going to be in there. So I've looped it up, push that in, get your ball bearing, make sure it's round in that, which it is, and that just slides in. And then get your clutch pressure plate. You can see it's got a circle there on the top. Push rod's got a little knot in as well, and it's got a circle there at the top. That circle lines up with that when you put on. So that's like that. And we're just going to put the 5 springs in and the 5 screws. That's the springs and that's the bolts. I've got the screw heads in, but always use sockets on them because they just round off. I've measured the springs and they're all the right size, so we're just going to put them in now. As you tighten them up, tighten that one, that one, that one, that one, that one in a sequence. Then you'll feel them all just start nipping up. Just gently nip them. Just there, still going in a star sequence. Oh, just go around and tighten them all tight. Take that one. That one. That one. That one. That's the clutch on. Now we're going to get the side casing on. I've got to put a water pump in it. It's over there. I've got to put a water pump shaft in it because that's a different side casing in with a different oil pump in as well. So we're going to do that now. So I've got the water pump seal in now. I've took the old water pump out of there, the other casing. Slides in, and you've got that on the back. Get 2 washers. One washer goes on, and you've got that like that, with a little hole through the shaft. Get that little pin through so it's it's on there evenly. You have to keep hold of it as it drops out. And then you've got that on that cog, that fits over that bar. So we're just gonna slide it over the bar. And that's it on there. Then you've got another one of those washers. Then you've got that end clip. Just clip that on with some pliers. And that's the water pump back on. Now I'm going to go and find another one of those for them, for that side. Then put the gasket on, put this casing on. I've got a GPO engine upstairs when I'm about to strip, so I'm going to take all the case bolts out of that engine upstairs, and the pipe what goes around the front of there, around the front of the engine for the water, for the coolant. I'm going to put that new pipe on as well, so I'll go and get them now. And I've got the bolts, I've got the new water pipe. I'll just put one of those in there. Just going to put the gasket on now. The two stoppers. Then we're going to push the case on now. As you push the case on, turn the water pump, so this shaft, so this cog goes in with that, instead of just pushing it on, cracking teeth off. And I need a pin, one of those pins from there. Just remember that. Anyway, we'll get this on. I'll just push this on. But don't push it on all the way. Just push it on like that. And then what I like to do is, once it's on enough, instead of pushing it all the way, in case your gasket comes off loose, and when you put your bolts through, you end up with a rip in your gasket. Best to leave, there's a gap that much in between the casing, so I can see the bolts going through, making sure they're going through the gasket and into the hole, instead of missing the gasket hole and ripping it. So that one's gone through, and that one's going through the gasket. Alright. Just need one more in there, but that's what I was meaning. Just leave a gap like that, then you can see all your bolts going through your gasket and into the holes where they're meant to go. Then I'm going to find another one for there and tighten this case on. And I've put the pin in now and the other bolts. So now put the water pump gasket on. And then the casing and this pipe. The other one was on was silver, being spray painted. Just put the water pump case on now, just make sure it's all the old gaskets off. Screws in them or tighten them up. That's the water pump on now. We can get the pipe on. You just got a rubber ring like that. Just fit it onto there. Now push that in. I don't know if this is on right. This bracket here. And I've got the pipe on now. Just had to take that screw out of there. What's got that bracket on? What the pipe it fits onto. I'll just have to find out which way the brad goes. And that's the water pipe brad on now. And the hose into the pump. And I've got some new reeds to put in as well, which are good, from a low mileage one I broke ages ago. So we'll put them in with the thing. One of them as well off the Derby engine upstairs. Just going to tighten that up now. That's it on now and done. That's the engine all built. I'm not putting the stator on yet until I put the engine into the bike. But it's all done, so thanks for watching.